Yo, what's going on, everybody? Today I'm coming at you with my top 10 anime slash manga protagonists. And this won't be my official top 10, but it's going to be a list that I'm going to be growing as the months go by, as I watch more anime, read more manga. But right now, I just want to list what my current top 10 favorite protagonists are as of right now. So without wasting any time, let's get into the list. Before we start, I want to get my honorable mentions out of the way right now. I have Ichigo from Bleach. I rock with Ichigo pretty heavy. Giorno from JoJo's. This was hard leaving him off the top 10, but I really resonate with Giorno. Kaiman from Dorohedoro. I love the mystery that's behind him. I think he's a really cool protagonist. And Isagi from Blue Lock, because I really like Isagi's character and his motivations going through Blue Lock. And also Blue Lock is probably the first sports manga that really got me into reading and wanting to watch more sports anime. So that's my honorable mentions right now. Number 10, I have Iguchi from Out. Out is a delinquent manga, and Iguchi is the main protagonist, and he is just the definition of that prototype delinquent badass that you just can't get enough of. He's charismatic. He's got the fighting skills, dude. He's got some of the best fights in the series. I love the fact that he is this neutral character in the story, because the story right now, it's these two rival gangs going on, and Iguchi playing this neutral protagonist front is pretty cool to see. And it's kind of funny because you don't see him a lot during some of these fights, but in the beginning he has such a cool presence about him, and he's just a down-to-earth dude who just really wants to get off his probation and just do what's right. And he also has like funniness to him. And I also love his trash talk. I love a good main character that can trash talk, and dude is just cool as hell. It's hard not to like him, so he's number 10. Number 9, I have Thorfin from Vinland Saga. Thorfin, to me, and I've only seen the anime for Vinland Saga. I'm waiting on season 2, which is coming soon. I was waiting on and debating on if I wanted to get into the manga just yet, but I don't know, something told me to just wait on it. I'm eventually going to read all of it. I have 4 volumes that I have right now, which is the start of season 1. The art is amazing. But Thorfin as a main character, I really love how in the beginning Thorfin has this bright-eyed view of being a warrior, and then later on you see how later he becomes a slave to the idea of wanting to get revenge on Askeladd, and how being a warrior, there's more to just fighting and brutality and becoming, dying on the battlefield and stuff like that. And his maturity, I did see a little bit of it in the manga. His maturity that is going to be happening, oh man, it's going to be good. Just like his downfall and his how he kind of bounces from like 1 minute he's looking kind of up, and then everything can just go downhill just based on his own ambitions and focusing on them too much, that he loses sight of like the brighter things ahead of him. It's fun. It's just great to read, and overall great protagonist Thorfin is, and I can't wait to get more and more into Vinland Saga. Number 8, I have Shinichi from Parasite. Now I binged Parasite pretty easily, and part of that is Shinichi as a main character just fits that whole Parasite theme that they have going on, especially him and Migi. Very similar to Thorfin, the maturity that Shinichi goes through, mainly with trying to cope and live with Migi, who is obviously not a human life form, was interesting to read, because you see how Shinichi goes through these different cycles of his life, and part of that is due to Migi's DNA. Like, one of the most interesting parts of him was when he started to become more abrasive and aggressive and almost got more of an ego, and that was part of Migi's DNA. Like he doesn't really have a soft spot to him. That was coming into Shinichi, who was he's a down-to-earth dude, and he was kind of just questioning his own humanity. I love that. To me, Parasite is like one of the most, I wouldn't say perfect, but it's one of those series to where it's like it's so little to like pick out and say what's bad. And Shinichi is the main character. He was phenomenal to watch. And I definitely recommend Parasite if you haven't seen it. It's on Netflix. You're definitely I'm telling you right now, you're definitely going to get different feelings towards Shinichi as the story goes on and progresses. Now, number 7 is technically, quote unquote, not the protagonist, but he has a prequel, and this dude is just, I rocks with him. When I first seen it, because I was told to watch this before Magi, Sinbad is one of the coolest main characters, because I love how his character is approached with this future prodigy king like mentality, and how he's destined for this, and how he views his leadership and the way he goes about going against enemies, and his ambition is some of the best I've seen, because he's not. He's very selfish, but he's selfish to a point to where he's not blinded by it, and I love that. Like one of my favorite moments in the Sinbad story was when he was in the dungeon. He already had a djinn, and it was a setup to where and one of the characters was going to get a djinn, and it was easy for him to get one because people were looking at it like, oh, Sinbad doesn't need another one. He's already accomplished a dungeon. And Sinbad just went in there and he got another djinn power, and his speech about how I'm going to be the king and you all will listen to me and follow me. But he gave it in such a confident manner to where it almost didn't come off as cocky. Because a lot of times you would look at the things that he's doing and say, oh man, this dude kind of a dickhead. But the way he goes about it is just so like almost like you as the viewer, you want to follow Sinbad. And I rocks with that so heavy. He's my number 7, and I'm telling you, if you haven't gotten the Maki, Sinbad is one of those characters to where he's going to make you love the show just because of him. For number 6, we got the boy Eren from Attack on Titan. Obviously, as of now, Eren is one of the most popular main characters right now because of his quote-unquote transformation in season 4, and I like it because it's hard to say that he's changed because actually he hasn't. It's just that he's gone more towards his dream and goal of just wanting to kill the Titans, that he's just become more aggressive towards it, and that he knows what he's doing, and he plays this villain / protagonist role at points, and that's where it's cool seeing people go like, oh, I like Eren, but I don't like the way he's doing things. Or there's some people that's like, you know, like that's I want to see Eren do this. I want to see him kill all the Titans and the people from Paradise. He's a polarizing character. I haven't read the manga, all I know is the anime, and I mean I have seen people say that his character goes downhill, but I'll see that for myself. But as a main character, Eren is one of the best I've seen as of now, and definitely one of the most engaging to kind of follow. So if he's better towards the end of this series, in my opinion, he'll definitely be higher on the list going forward in the next list I do. But Eren, he's, because it's funny, in seasons 1 through 3 I wasn't huge on Eren, but I got his character. In season 4, seeing that push to what Eren turned into, it really made me enjoy his character. Top 5 time, and number 5 I got my boy Ken from Sunken Rock. If you haven't watched if you haven't read Sunken Rock, I would advise you to do so, especially if you like delinquent or crime type manga. This is because I started reading Sunken Rock about a month ago. I'm about 60 chapters deep. This manga is so fun to read, and it's so badass. Because Ken, once again, he's a leadership type character. Very strong early on, and it's mainly him trying to balance this whole being a crime boss but also being a regular person, because the girl he's in love with and all that. And it's just, he has a funny personality. The way he just conducts himself in these terrible, like some of the most vile things you'll see people do in this manga, and Ken will beat their ass, but he wouldn't go to that limit of just killing people because of how he views that, and he's not going to stoop to that level, and how he's easily able to get people on his side through his sheer willpower, his confidence, the way he goes about his demeanor, how he is as a leader, and how he riles the troops. And it's like you want to see you. It's easy to root for him, and he's got this heart of a lion type mentality that it's almost as infectious. And I rocks with him heavy. It's like he's just literally, for me, if I had to pick a main character prototype, I'm going with him. Dude is just he goes from this guy we don't know anything about to being a guy that we want to see at the top of the mountain soon. Oh man, if you haven't read Sunken Rock, definitely read it. You're gonna enjoy it. Number 4, I got my boy, my dog, Yuji Isadore. You already know, if you see my channel, I'm a big JJK guy, obviously. And Isadore is one of my favorite protagonists already. His cycle of just going through what he's going through without spoiling is very intriguing to read, very exciting to read, because his character, it's not about strength, and it's not about trying to be the best person. And by best person, I mean the best sorcerer or per se, like anything like that. It's just him trying to, basically, without spoiling, his subtle transformation into what he's become now is very, very thrilling to read, because he's become a character to where action wise, you know what he's gonna do, but the reasoning behind it is a little different now. and I'm really enjoying him as a main character. Honestly, he's kind of underrated in my opinion because a lot of people don't see the depth behind him. But I'm just like, he's one of the reasons I'm so enthralled with this series and loving it as much as I am now. I mean, dude, the way it's going, by the time this series ends, he's gonna be one of the best of all time, in my opinion. That's how it's going. Like, there's literally no flaw in him with me. The parallels that he has with certain characters, the problems that he deals with certain characters, and how they conflict his ideals and the way he thinks is right and wrong. It's very good. If you're into the JJK series, through the anime, you want to read the manga, highly recommend it. Definitely check out the manga. The art is fire, and you're really gonna understand Yuji's character even more when you get deeper into the story. Number 3, I got my OG first anime I watched that got me into anime. I got Naruto Uzumaki. This is self-explanatory, from underdog to the GOAT. I mean, when I was a kid, pretty much I followed Naruto, the whole journey, whole spiel, the nine-tailed fox. Naruto went from this young upstart dude that everybody hated because he just got on everybody's nerves because he was too ambitious. He was like, I'm going to be the Hokage. Now he's the Hokage in Boruto. Now he feels like a whole different character practically. Like, as Naruto, the OG series, and then ship it in, and now he feels just so mature, and it feels as if, since I watched it ever since I was like 9 or 10 or something, like, no, actually it might have been like 6 or 7. And I've been following and trying to follow ever since, through the YouTube days when we had to find the clips on YouTube. Following his journey, man. I mean, it's hard not to have him in my top 3. That's my day one protagonist in anything. Naruto Uzumaki, the GOAT, so he's at number 3. Now let's get into the top 2. Now we have number 2, Guts from Berserk. Man, I say this is a bad man. This is a bad man. When I first started reading Berserk, I knew what I was getting into, but I kind of didn't. And it wasn't because of the dark or the gore. It was just the layers of character in characters such as Guts, Grissom, Casca. When I'm reading this, it's hard to put it down because it's so engaging. And Guts as a main character, dude is obviously badass. If you haven't noticed, practically my entire list are a bunch of badasses. But now this is just to say I haven't read past the Golden Age arc. I'm kind of giving myself a break from it because I think I read the whole Black Swordsman arc and the Golden Age within like 3 weeks. So I was taking a break, and man, like, when you see the certain things that correlate with Guts' character, especially when you find out the reason why he's doing certain things in the beginning in the Black Swordsman arc, oh my god, because the development of going from this emotionless, stoic character who he is sort of, I would say, quote unquote edgy, but he has such a human nature to him behind all of this stoic and emotionless feeling, that when he finally reaches the Band of the Hawk and gets to know these guys, you really see Guts' real personality come to bloom, and how the relationship he develops with all of them, Casca, Griffith, Judith, and all of them, and then what happens in the eclipse and how what he's doing now affect him from then. Oh my god, is it good. I'm so glad I picked up this series because it's right in my wheelhouse. And then the journey of Guts is something that I feel like a lot of people should read because there's a lot of depth to him, and there's just it's one of those characters to where you can relate to a lot of parts of him, and just the human nature of him it's crazy to see everything he goes through and how he's just how insanely sane he's become, if that makes sense. Guts is number 2. I love his character. I can't wait to get back into the manga and see what else he's done throughout the story. But man, Guts already, just of everything I've read, he's number 2. Dude is a beast. For my number 1 anime/manga protagonist, right now I have to give it to my boy Yusuke Urameshi. The man, bro, if you don't relate to Yusuke in some sort of way, something wrong with you. Especially if you are a young adult / male or teenager, Yusuke is going to be one of your favorites. Dude is funny as hell, kicks ass. He's the oh my god. First of all, he's a delinquent. If you don't know, if you haven't watched the Yu Yu Hakusho, so you kind of know where this is going. The fact that I fell in love with Yusuke's character after episode 1, because as this guy who's used to being like a troublemaker, when he died the first time in the show, and you see that he actually has so many people that cared about him behind the scenes that he didn't realize, and it is heartwarming. So when you see him develop into he's more than what meets the eye type character, it's fun to go through. His interactions with Kuwabara is some of the best I've ever heard in any medium. It's literally like talking to the bros. I mean, it's just it's hard to like if you dislike Yusuke, something's wrong with you. I don't know how you can dislike Yusuke. He's a shonen OG. I rocks with this whole character. His rivalry with Toguro is one of the best in anime, period. You have to watch the Dark Tournament to see how him and Toguro finally come face to face. The emotion with Genkai, all of that. The other like friendly rivalry, I would say, with Hiei. It's fun to watch. You see them both developing strength and how they kind of go back and forth and, you know, kind of test each other. Oh man, like Yusuke is one of those characters to where he's pretty much perfect all around. He fits the series. He does everything well in terms of interactions and all that. I'm glad I picked up and watched Yu Yu Hakusho and binged it, because now that show is just ingrained in me forever now. Yusuke is part of that. Yusuke, he's one of the GOATs, man. He's a GOAT. He's my #1. And that's the list. Top 10 with Yusuke capping it off. That's my top 10 anime manga list, protagonists right now. There will be another list coming very much later down the line because I want to watch more stuff. And just to give you a heads up, I have been watching Death Note in my off time, and Light might be in the list later. So just let you know that right now. But yeah, if you have your own top 10, leave it in the comment section if you want. Do a top 5 or even drop your own top 3. But overall, let me see what your favorite protagonist is in anime and manga. And with that, I'll let you on the next one. Peace.